Welcome to you all on behalf of Ananta IAS Academy, which is its branches at Hyderabad, Bangalore, and Vishakhapatnam. Today, most of our students or candidates will be in a hurry to brush up their subjects for the prelims examination. Some of them who passed out from the mains examination and are expecting for the dates to be announced by the UPSC for the personality test. Personality test is otherwise known as the interview also. It has 275 marks. Those who have got more than 1200 or so for 1750 marks are now in the fray for the interviews. Most of you must be thoroughly going through the drill of mock interviews, several tests of your own friends and other things to compete with the interview board. Normally, the ratio of interviews will be 1 is to 2.5. Suppose there are 1,000 vacancies, 2,500 people will be called for the interview, and the interview drill goes on for about 2 months. Last year also due to the pandemic they have postponed. This year also they have postponed it to, normally they may start again in the month of the end of June. Last time they did it by July ending, and the students joined at Mussoorie and other places where they have to undergo the training. For the candidates who are appearing for the interviews, I have written a book called Job Interviews. It was published by Delhi publisher Gyan Publishers, the Gyan Books. Most of the students have gone through the book and they have telephoned me also saying that, sir, we were benefited with the reading of the book. So I also recommend that you please go through that book, Job Interviews, which is available with Gyan Books. In fact, the publisher's name is Kalpas Publications, New Delhi, Daryaganj. Most of the publishers are in Daryaganj and they go on publishing it. This book has been read by several students before appearing for the interview. I will be taking a special session for the convenience of these people who are going to interview another 2 3 days. Now, today I will be discussing with 4 or 5 current events which are of the nature of regular students who are appearing for the prelims examination as well as the mains examination. The one which I am stressing is the Supreme Court urged to stop illegal adaptations. What is this? The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights sounded alarm on a spate of complaints against the illegal adoption of COVID orphans through private individuals and organizations. Due to the pandemic, several children have lost their parents and they are almost like orphans on the streets. So, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights urged the Supreme Court to stop these illegal adoptions because most of them, in the name of an NGO or a private organization, they simply adopt these children and make them as prostitutes and they do the flesh trading. So, according to the NCPR statistics, around 3,620 children were orphaned during this pandemic, and 26,176 children lost either their parents. 274 children were abandoned, and this happened only between 3 months, April to June 2021, because it was the second wave and it was in the peak, and so many people died, and it was only within a span of 90 days. The second wave was the worst form during this period, leaving a trail of death across the country. NCPCR, that is the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights, received so many complaints. What is the complaint? The children who were orphaned, they were taken away and they say we have adopted these children, and if they are suppose at the age of 14, 15, they ask them to grow up and then they are used for the flesh trade. This is painfully illegal and violates the Juvenile Justice Act. The Act prohibits the disclosure of identity of the children with regard to the name, school age, address, or any information which would reveal the information about the child. The act is very vigorous and it is very strict. What is to be done at this stage? They must contact 1098. I will repeat 1098, or the District Child Welfare Committee, or the District Child Protection Officer, or the helpline of a state commission. The Juvenile Justice Act of 2015 says like this: it mandates setting up of juvenile justice boards and child welfare committees in every district. That is the mandatory thing. Every district should have such a body. The voluntary or non-government organizations have to register under this act. This is the position of the act. So the NCPRC requested the Supreme Court to stop these adaptations of illegal nature. Then we move on to another subject, G7 corporate tax deal. What is this? There are G20 countries, but this is another uniform body in that G20. The finance ministers from the wealthy G7 nations have endorsed a new global corporate tax, which is to be done immediately. What is this tax deal? This agreement will be discussed in G20 financial ministers meeting in the month of July, which is going to be conducted. It is to aim to counter the tax avoidance, to make companies pay in the countries where they do business. Because most of the countries, either through importing or exporting the goods, they will be avoiding the taxes in some manner or another. It proposes a global minimum corporate tax rate of 15% to avoid the countries undercutting each others. The United States has proposed a declaration of war on low tax jurisdictions around the globe. US has taken this move. The decision was a war to ratify 15% floor rate. This is a floor rate which has been adopted by these G7 countries, but they doesn't want this US, to discourage shifting of multinational operations. This is another impediment. What are the issues behind this? It impinges the right of sovereign nations. It will take away a tool that countries use to push policies that suit them. And it is global minimum tax rate will do little to tackle the tax evasion, because those who want to evade the tax, they can do it. So in this connection, this may not help. India's effective tax rate is above global tax rate. It would not affect companies during the business in India. If somebody is doing business in India, it will not impediment them. Then we will move on to the another subject, National Asset Reconstruction Companies Limited. What is this company? The lenders, that is bankers, have decided initially to transfer 22 bad loan accounts of 89,000 crores to the proposed company. This company formed against a bill passed in the Lok Sabha discusses about this National Asset Reconstruction Company, and it aids the cleanup of their balance sheets. The aggregate amount of bad loans to be transferred, it trenches will be 2 trillion rupees. So it is a very huge amount. So to avoid this lending people in a bad shape, this act has been approved. The proposed bad bank, it is known as bad bank. Normally we have several banks at the nationalized bank, but this bank is known as a bad bank for trailing over stressed assets of lenders. It was announced in 2021-22 budget by Nirmala Sitharamanji. An asset reconstruction company and an asset management company to manage and recover the dead assets is the main simple reason for making this into come effect by this name as bad bank. The private lenders engage wastads and gundas. You might have heard about the so many mutual fund agencies which are in a private organization to get back the loans. They use the help of the gundas and they pay them some money to get back their money. And some of the things are happening like that. They pressurize the person who has taken the loan, and somehow or other, either they will mortgage their house or other properties and get back the money to the bank. The proposed bad bank will be of public sector character. They typically seek a steep discount on the loans. The government backed ARC will have deep pockets to buy out big accounts. This is another advantage. It is registered under the Reserve Bank of India Act. It will have a minimum net owned fund of 2 crores, but the RBI has raised it to 100 crores. The total stress in the banking would be in excess of about 15 lakh crores. That is the huge amount which the banks are supposed to get back from the people who have taken it on loans. Then another important thing which you have to keep in mind is regarding the monsoon session of parliament. The candidates who are appearing for prelims, you should be in an advantageous position to at least what are the functions of parliament, how many times the parliament should meet once in a year. These are the things which are in the constitution itself. The last session was curtailed and ended sine die on March 25th, 2021 because of the pandemic and other reasons. Under constitutional norms, next session is to be held in 6 months. Normally, the procedure is there should not be any gap of 6 months. These three sessions have been curtailed due to the pandemic. Article 85 of the Constitution requires that there should not be any gap of more than 6 months between two sessions. So now September 14th is the due date, and before that the session should come into effect. Please note, the Constitution does not specify when or how many days Parliament should meet. There is no straight answer for that question. The power of convening the session rests with the government. Decision is taken by the Cabinet Committee on Parliamentary Affairs. It is formalized by President of India, in whose name members of Parliament are summoned to meet for a session. It goes in the name of the President of India. Why is a parliamentary session important? This is another question which the candidates appearing for prelims should keep it in mind. The lawmaking is dependent on when Parliament meets. Unless the Parliament meets and pass the bills, the government cannot run. Do you know? Half of the world's population is under 30 years, but only 2.6% of the MPs globally represent this group. That means most of the people are above 30 years. Normally it goes up to 75, 76 of years age also, because they are very old people. They come on coming up on each and every election, and they won the elections and they win the elections, and then they come into the Lok Sabha. The Interparliamentary Union is the global organization of national parliaments. It began in 1899 itself as a small group, and today it has inched to 180 member parliaments. To be specific, it is 179 parliament members, member parliaments, and 13 associate members. This is the structure of this Interparliamentary Union. Then we will go to other two aspects of Modi's government's very major decisions taken during the last week. Surakshit Hum, Surakshit Tum Abhiyan. You are safe and I am safe. This is the slogan of this Abhiyan. Niti Ayog and the Piramal Foundation have launched this in 112 aspirational districts. 112 districts have been identified, and the Piramal Foundation and the Niti Ayog, which was earlier named as Lanning Commission, they have taken up this decision. This campaign will provide COVID home care support to about 20 lakh citizens distributed in several districts. It is a part of the special initiative taken, and the aspirational districts collaborate, in which local leaders, civil societies, and the volunteers work with the district administration to address the emerging problem. Due to the pandemic, the district administration also needs the help of some NGOs and the volunteers. So this collaborative will assist and will help the district administration. And then comes another important major decision taken by Modi, Yuva, the Prime Minister's scheme for mentoring young authors. Normally, the age-old people who write and who publish their books, they are at another edge of the group, and this group is meant only for the youth below 30 years. To encourage the youngsters to harness their writing skills, this Yuva has been introduced. What does this mean? It creates a pool of authors of below 30 years who are ready to express themselves and project India on any international platform. So, to train them and to give skills to them, this Yuva has been introduced. This is meant to mentor the young writers. The themes suggested for them is unsung heroes, freedom fighters, national movement, etc. The selection through an all India contest will be done, and if the people participate in that contest below age of 30 years, total 75 authors will be selected by 15th August 2021. That is the goal of this organization. The winner entries to be ready by 15th December. So in another 4 months, they should be ready by writing the script which they want to meet. And the published books to be launched on 12th January 2022. You must ask what is the importance of this day, 12th January. It is Yuva Divas, Youngsters Day. The scholarship of a 50,000 rupees per month will be given to the particular people who are selected under this scheme, and they will be continuing their writing skills with the help of this fellowship. So, friends, this in a nutshell is the organizational structure of different schemes in Government of India, and you should be ready to read this and to study this and to involve yourself in making your own notes. That is more important. We go on speaking, but it will never work out. You should sit down, you go on asking these points, you search your own websites, and then if you want to have the international forum for parliament, what is the act says and what does it mean, and then if you go to this Yuva scheme, you will be finding out which ministry will be conducting this. You go to Swachh Bharat, like that. You prepare your own notes and be thorough with the subject. And whatever way the question is interpreted, they give the statements of A, B, C to 1, 2, 3, and you are requested to answer in the form of an A, B, C, D. So, friends, be thorough with the subject and get yourself acclimatized with the situation and have the understanding of the subject. Then you will be able to run through. Thank you.